Sustainable development is about balancing economic prosperity, social inequality, and managing our impact on the environment. In Singapore's case, bridging the widening income gap should be a top priority. That's according to the Right Honourable Helen Clark, who is the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Ms. Clark is also the administrator of the United Nations Development Programme, the organisation's first female leader.
It's seeing emerging challenges. The debate about inequality. That has to be tackled, because what's most important, I think, to a country like this is its sense of social cohesion and fairness, and people believing that they can get ahead. Now, if the perception takes root that the dice is loaded against me, that's quite corrosive of society. So I think I'll identify that as an area to really be focusing pretty hard on. I also have experience, of course, from a country perhaps more relevant, and that is New Zealand, where, yes, we have experienced growing inequality too. And it does shake a nation's sense of identity if your tradition has been of high social cohesion and everybody having a chance.
Ms. Clark said this at a 30-second Singapore lecture organised by the Institute of Southeast Asian Studies. Deputy Prime Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam was present to introduce Ms. Clark to more than 200 attendees comprising dignitaries and students. The 1.5-hour lecture also touched on how good and fair governance have helped countries like Brazil, Mongolia and Uganda. Speaking to the media at a press conference after the lecture, Ms. Clark said another area Singapore should look at is how to cope with an ageing population.
Often in societies where people feel under real income pressure, one child is what they can afford. And yet for society to sustain itself, on average, a family needs to have more than one child. So again, I think if you look at the overall social policy environment, which gives people genuine choice to exercise, supported by affordable early childhood care and education, a good mix of work and family policy, then you may see the demographics of Singapore change a little bit.
Ms. Clark explained why it is important for countries to focus on quality growth instead of fast growth.
We do see a lot of examples of high growth which hasn't had an impact on poverty reduction at all. And in the end, what is growth for? Growth has to be a means to achieving a country's objectives for its people. And so it needs to be capable of generating revenue for the public purse, which can be recycled back into the virtuous cycle: infrastructure, education, healthcare, housing, range of services. So that's where I think the emphasis needs to go. Work out what the development vision you have is, and then what kind of growth is going to get you there.
As countries around the world recover from the global financial crisis, many are struggling with unemployment and job creation. Ms. Clark suggested 2 areas that countries can look into to resolve this problem.
Firstly, there always seems to be a mismatch between the job opportunities available and the labour force which is looking for work. So that's the first place to look, I think, at what are the vacancies in a country's economy and how are you going to fill them by equipping and training your own people to do them. Secondly, I think quite a lot more can be done country by country on self-employment and youth entrepreneurship to get people self-started. So the philosophy shouldn't always be, well, who's going to give me a job, but how can I create my own job?
In summary, Ms. Clark said achieving sustainable development is a journey that requires good governance, but countries should not grow at the expense of their people.